is, right? What do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
Are you ready?
It's time!
Welcome back to another Sunday afternoon episode of Software Explorations. We are getting it on with Terraform today. Welcome in your car with an absolutely fascinating question to get us started. Let me throw up our 2-hour timer. Right? 2 hours. We're going to try to keep it within 2 hours. And we'll get going from there, right? So there we go. Tonight, or this afternoon, whatever time it is for you, it's afternoon for me right now. We are going to be looking into Terraform modules. I'm not too familiar with them. I have an idea what they do, but I don't know how to use them yet. I have a guide, a tutorial, whatever you want to call it, that we're going to be looking through. We're going to try to figure it out ourselves. If you do not know who I am your host of the show and of the channel. I am Tech Coach Ralph, where, above all else, we are engineered to win. And your car asks in a fascinating question. It says, why is the person on the thumbnail playing with Lego? Actually, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret, because I got told that it's actually Lego without the S. It's just Lego. I was shocked. I'm like, but there's many of them. Isn't it plural? Like, nope, it's just a Lego. I'm like, oops, my bad. So just passing it along, because they said if you were to go and say Lego into the, believe it or not, the Lego community, then they would laugh and ridicule you. And I was like, well, I'll make sure I say Lego from now on. But I never knew. But, but the reason that I have on the thumbnail, the person on thumbnail playing with Lego, is that when I think about modules and putting things together in blocks, it's like, for me, a module is like a method or a function or something like that you can call in from somewhere else. So that's what I saw the modules at. I'm like, you know what? That's kind of like, you remember playing with Connects, or maybe I'm saying Connects wrong, who knows? But like, Connects and Lego and all that type of stuff, like the building blocks and putting things together. Like, you know what? Let's go with a Lego with a software engineer playing with Lego. No S. But is there? Should there be an S in Lego? I don't know. I digress. Anyways. So that's why the software engineer there is playing with the Lego blocks, all right? Or whatever you call them. Don't at me, y'all. Don't at me, all right? So that is the plan for today. We're going to be looking into modules, and I'm still working on that other ECS issue. I'm just trying to troubleshoot to see where something is going wrong. I have a strong feeling it's when the target is being created, but I'm like, I'm just going to table that for now. I'm going to figure that out on my own, and I'll report back, because it takes so long for the Terraform to go. It's like starting up building the infrastructure with Terraform and destroying it takes up the whole segment. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to figure this out on my own time. And then once I figure it out, I will let you know. All right. So that is the plan for today. Terraform modules. And we got my guy in the building. Junior's hit us with the what's up. What's going on with you, Junior? Welcome.
We the best.
All right. So let's get I'm trying to get into the show, but your car hit me with the, as soon as someone starts giving me a dissertation on the phonics of Lego, in all caps, of Lego, I'm walking away from them mid-sentence. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Your car, there is a big community out there. I didn't know what I stumbled upon, but hey, you know, I'm very, very respectful of what Lego should be addressed by. You know, all right. Anyways, your car, don't walk away. Your car, don't walk away. All right, never let go. All right, let's get the show. Let's get into our agenda. All right, let's take care of some housekeeping for today. There we go. Let's take care of some housekeeping. So first and foremost, you guys know. Thank you to all of the subscribers who are rocking with me, who find value in the content that we provide, whether it is the Men Lie, Women Lie, Numbers Manipulate show that we did yesterday, whether it's the Terraform figuring out infrastructure, whether it's our Q&A show, or whether it's when we're doing different QA stuff on Thursday nights, or the morning shows where we're working through mobile for mobile development, whatever it is, wherever you find value. I just appreciate you for being here and for watching and for subscribing, all of that good stuff. You are very, very much appreciated. All to the new subscribers, the ones who have been with me for a while, the ones that I'm looking to connect back in, like Don. I heard from Don the other day. We're gonna start doing some cool stuff again. Look out for a Q&A session with me and Don coming soon. So look out for that. You know, we're just trying to figure some things out. You know, Don's super busy out. Don is a super QA engineer out there in California as well. He's on the same time zone as your car. Very, very, very smart guy. So, you know, once I get him back on the show, we're gonna have so much fun. All right. So there's Don. And so shout out to everyone. Just really, really appreciate you. And then a big salute to the tech savages. That includes the tech barbarians, the tech prodigy, the technical explorers. That includes the tech mercenaries, the YouTube members, and as well as the bag chasers. Shout out to all of you guys.
I appreciate you.
All right, now let's jump in real quick to our live show schedule, so Saturday mornings, right? We have our Men Lie, Women Lie, Numbers Manipulate show, where when I say we, it's me, Jakar, and Mitch predominantly, right? The three of us, right? I'm here, I'm on stream, but Mitch and Jakar are in the chat, throwing me pointers, helping me navigate this crazy financial and economic information. And so we do that. We review all the weekly economic numbers and we break that down, see what's what. I try to find a way to make it easy to understand so that, so that I can have a good understanding of it, so I can be informed, right? So I can be informed. With that being said, Jakar, check this out, right? The video yesterday, well, it wasn't a copyright strike, but it had a copyright thing on it where you get the video can't be monetized. Guess for which part? Guess which thing of the video made it couldn't be monetized, and it was for one of the sound effects. I'll let you guess which one, and then I'll circle back around and I'll answer. So as I go through the rest of the show, through the rest of the schedule, right? So we have our morning shows Mondays and Wednesdays. So the past few weeks, I've been starting them around 7:30. I'm going to try something crazy tomorrow, right? Because really, the morning show for me, it's really for me too. It's like my software engineering workout. So I'm going to say right after I get my morning stretches and my quick little workout done, I'm going to say let's just jump right into my software engineering workout, my kata, right? I'm going to start a little bit earlier. I'm going to try just for this week, because it's a short week. I'm going to try at 6:45 because it's just for me to work out, right? Get my mind ready for the workday. All right, I'm going to try it at 6:45, see how that goes Eastern time. Don't you try to wake up early, your car. You don't wake up early, your car. I'm just stay in bed, right? But I'm trying to do that 6:45 Eastern time, see how that goes. To see is that really plausible for me to do? Because I would like to do some other stuff right after, just keep going. But we'll see. We shall see. All right. And we have as well on Sunday afternoons. Today we have software explorations. We're working our way through Terraform, soon to be getting to DevOps. Tuesday nights, we have our Q&A sessions where you can ask questions in the chat, you can call in, and we can, and I have questions that I find as well. And we just have a great time answering questions, giving our thoughts and our opinions, all of that good stuff. And then lastly, we have on Thursday nights, software explorations where we're doing different QA, a lot of QA stuff. It can vary. Sometimes I've done like, what did we do last week? Last week we worked on README documentation and I was showing you a little bit about how I coach the tech barbarians and stuff like that. So, Thursday nights, they're focused on QA a lot, but it can vary. It can vary. So, don't just join us and have some fun and see how I go through the process of exploring things, learning things, showing things, things like that. All right. So, and then now let's jump into our pre-recorded content. Mondays, we have candid conversations. Last week, I spoke about how today's failure leads to tomorrow's success. Tomorrow, it might sound a little harsh, right? It might sound a little harsh, but I'm going to talk about why I don't owe you. And when I say you, you'll figure it out when you watch the video, right? But I say, because I've told you before why nobody owes you anything, but I'm going to be very specific now. Why I don't owe you anything. And once you watch it, you'll see exactly what I mean and what type of people that's addressed to. All right. So check it out tomorrow, Candid Conversations at noon Eastern time. Wednesdays, we have software explorations. Last week, I did part 1 of our QA metrics. This week, I'm going to do part 2 and wrap that up. And then Fridays, we have the bug bite where last week we spoke about a ex-Google employee, how it cost, or no, an ex-employee cost its former company $600,000. This week, we're going to be talking about some GitLab vulnerabilities, all that stuff. So you definitely want to tune in. And then throughout the week, we are reviewing, I release like different clips from the Q&A show. So, then we also, sometimes we release clips from the different live streams and break conversations, stuff like that. So much content, tune in. That's why you have to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you can see all the new content that's dropping and know when we go live. And if you want to work one-on-one with me, join the coaching group. Go to www.techcoachrob.dev. Sign up for a membership there. And by the way, at 7 Eastern time tonight, I am doing an office hours for whatever tiered Patreon members. If you have any questions, I'll be working on some stuff on my own, but I'll be on Google Meet in case anyone has a question they want to call in, have a conversation. If you want me to look at something, maybe look at your resume or something, or maybe you're stuck on some type of coding thing and try to figure it out. Let's do it. You can call in. It's not going to be streamed anywhere. It's just going to be from 7 to 7:45. I'll be available on Google Meet. The link is in the post on the Patreon. You can check me out over there. If you have a question, have a conversation, talk about careers, whatever it is, we can figure it out, right? So that is the schedule for today, all right? So circling back to why the video yesterday was demonetized. And your car says, let me get this off the screen real quick. Your car said it had to be its checkout time. He said it had to be this one.
It's checkout time. Gotta go. Yeah, baby.
But guess what? Nope. It wasn't that one. It was, how did it go? The money one. It was the money. I was like, really? This one is the one that got, I was like, wow. I was shocked. So I just like muted that part of the show, or like that 12 seconds. That 12 seconds, I muted it, and I was like, all right, fine. But I thought it was gonna be its checkout time as well. But it was actually show me what is it? Must be the money. I even forgot the name of it. It says, let me see, what's the name of this thing again? I don't know. But is the intro for, is it Shane McMahon? Whatever. But yeah, I was like, wow, that sucks. But hey, I just won't use that one anymore. And but YouTube does have a cool tool where you can just mute that part. But I thought I used it more than once in the video, right? Hopefully they're not listening, but I thought I used it more than once in the video. Whatever. We shall see. Yeah, I didn't have to re-upload it. It was just YouTube has a tool where you just say mute this little 12-second segment, and they do that, and we're good to go. But it was interesting. It was interesting. You never know what it'll get you, right? Anyhow, Anyhow, so let's see where we're at now. And we got my guy in the building. Hit us up with the yo. What's good, Mitch? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I feel bad not giving Mitch a proper introduction today. But if he just wants a yo, then get a yo. All right. So let's get to it. So like I said, we are going to be talking about Terraform modules. Like I was saying earlier, I have a understanding of what Terraform modules are. I don't really know how they work. I watched like 5 minutes of a video talking about it. For me, like I said, they remind me of functions and stuff like that. So we're going to start looking at an article that's talking about Terraform functions, and we shall go from there. And then we'll see where we can plug them in, how we can use them, all that good stuff, right? So with that being said, let's get started.
It's time to do.
All right, so let's go to here. Let's go to here. There we go. All right, so I got this. I just did a search like how do Terraform modules work, and I got this site right here. I will drop this in the chat in case anyone wants to, take a look at it, follow along, etc. So we'll go with Terraform modules. I'm just gonna be like going through this, see, and then I'm gonna also look to see is there any spot that I see that we can plug this into for the work that we're gonna be doing, because we already have some Terraform stuff. Maybe now it'll be a good opportunity so that we do the refactoring phase. Are we able to refactor our Terraform so that we can be using modules? And, that's a good way to figure it out, right? So once we get to the break, we're going to see how what we're doing here is going to be really helpful, especially if you are, trying to get into this tech industry and stuff like that. All right. So let's get to it. So let me zoom in on this. All right. So this article so this says what are Terraform modules and how to use them, right? And your card says modules are like to go to this one. Modules are like using pre-made scenes from Ecamm. It speeds up the work. There are pre-made scenes from Ecamm. I wish I knew that. I've been building all my scenes on my own. Look at that. All right. Let's see. So what are Terraform modules and how to use them? This is written by Flavius Deneau and Stanislaw Szymanski. I think that's right. All right. And it was actually updated March 26, 2024. All right. So Terraform makes it easier to grow your infrastructure and keep its configuration clean. So we know that. But as the infrastructure grows, a single directory becomes hard to manage. That's a fact. That is definitely true.
Message.
Right. That's where Terraform modules come in. In this post, you will learn what modules are and how to use them and what problems they solve. So we're going to be going over what is a Terraform module, what types of Terraform modules, when you should use Terraform modules, how to use Terraform modules, what problems do Terraform modules solve, and Terraform modules best practices. This article is probably going to be a good software explorations for a Wednesday afternoon, but we are going to look at it now because we need to know it now, right? So what is a Terraform module? A Terraform module is a collection of standard configuration files in a dedicated directory. Terraform modules encapsulate groups of resources dedicated to one task, reducing the amount of code you have to develop for similar infrastructure components. Some say that Terraform modules are a way of extending your present Terraform configuration with existing parts of reusable code, reducing the amount of code you have to develop for similar infrastructure components. Others say that the Terraform module definition is a single or many TF files stacked together in their own directory. Both are correct. So I'm thinking now about this Terraform module stuff. When we were doing our Elastic Beanstalk Terraform configuration, And we had to, it's a really, really long file. We can actually pull that back up and take a look at it as we get more into this. And we can see maybe there's going to be some opportunities to turn some of that into modules so we can like make it reusable. It can make the code a lot cleaner. Like I always say, the principles of software development, especially in a test-driven development environment, is outside of the writing the failing test and make the test pass, but make it work and then make it better. Make it work and then make it better. So that's always on the top of my mind. All right. So let's see what we have going on over here. So, all right. So module blocks can also be used to force compliance on other resources to deploy databases with encrypted disk, for example. By hard coding the encryption configuration and not exposing it through variables, you're making sure that every time the module is used, the disks are going to be encrypted. A typical module can look like this: main.tf, outputs.tf, read.me or readme.md, and variables.tf. As you can see, practically any Terraform configuration is already a module in itself. If you run Terraform in this directory, those configuration files will be considered a root module. It means that this configuration is the base of your operation, a core that you can expand further, right? If you need, if you need to learn about Terraform, you can do it with this link over here. Let's see. And let me see what your car wrote, because you wrote something in the chat about this. So let's see. Your car says not from on. So once you build it, you can reuse it. You don't have to rebuild it every time. You can just add it onto it. You can just add onto it when needed. Okay, yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Very, very helpful. All right, so let's see here. And then new versions of Terraform will be placed under the BUSL license, but everything created before version 1.5 says stays open source. Open tofu? I don't like tofu. Do you guys like tofu? Mitch, do you like tofu? I don't like tofu. I've tried it one time. I was not a fan. I'm just saying. I digress. I see how easy it is to get distracted. That's why I have this timer up, because I get distracted so easily, you know? Anyways, it says, let's see. OpenTofu is an open source version of Terraform that will expand on Terraform's existing concepts and offerings. It is a viable alternative to HashiCorp's Terraform, being forked from Terraform version 1.5.6. OpenTofu retained all the features and functionalities that had made Terraform popular among developers, while also introducing improvements and enhancements. OpenTofu is not going to have its own providers and modules, but it is going to use its own registry for them. So what's the difference between resources and modules in Terraform? Right. So the first thing is a resource in Terraform describes a piece of infrastructure that is going to be created. For example, a VPC, virtual private network. Why do they use, if it's virtual private network, why do they say virtual VPC? Or do they mean virtual private cloud? I think too much about this, right? So a subnet, an EC2 instance, etc., whereas a module is a collection of resources that are used together to achieve a reusable use case. So a resource in Terraform, let's do this. Let's understand what in the world we're talking about here, right? So if we go to, all right, so if we go and look at over here, right? And this says that a resource, right here, resource. This resource is for a AWS security group, right? And it says that it describes a piece of infrastructure that's going to be created. So this right here, this resource right here is going to be creating an AWS security group, and it's going to name this right here, right? Now, the module is the collection of resources. So if this one has a bunch of these resources, this .tf file is technically a module, right? Because it's a collection of resources that are used together to achieve, well, it could be a module. If let's say let's say we are creating a security group. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. Well, no. Never mind. Anyways, I thought I saw something, but I'll look into that later. But so, I mean, let's say this could be a module for creating security groups for a load balancer and an ECS task, right? Just throwing something out there. So, all right, so that makes sense. All right, so let's keep going. So types of modules. Modules are used to, all right, so let's go back over to this screen. Modules are used to create a reusable component inside your infrastructure. There are primarily two types of modules depending on how they are written, root and child modules, and depending if they are published or not. We identify two different types as well, local and published. So root module. The root module consists of all the resources defined in the .tf file in the in a Terraform configuration, meaning that all Terraform configurations have their own root module. Even if you are simply creating a main.tf that has just local blocks inside of it with a local variable, that is still considered a root module. This can be confusing, but keep in mind that every Terraform configuration can become a reusable module for other configurations. Every module can call other modules, and all of the modules called inside another module are considered child modules. All right. So, would they be considered like grandchildren? Would it be like module inception? Anyways, calling a child module means to include all the resources defined in that module in the current configuration. This is done by using a module block inside your Terraform configuration. So module, and then you give it a name, and then you say the source, and I guess that would be the name of the, would that be the folder, or would that be the, let me see. Would it be the folder, or would it be the name? I guess it would be the folder. You can call the same module as many times as you want and configure it to your liking. A local module, right? A local module is a module that wasn't published in any registry, and when it is sourced, it is using the path to that particular module. A published module refers to a module that has been published to a Terraform registry, or even simply on a VCS version control system, and has a tag associated with it. When a published module is sourced, the URL of that module is used either from the registry or from the VCS itself. So here's the question. Here is the question we want to know. When in the world should we be using Terraform modules? What I want to know. The short answer to this question is always. What? Always. But depending on your organization and where you are in the infrastructure as code journey, this may vary. The best way to think about writing Terraform code is to keep reusability in mind. I love reusability. Refactor, reuse, all that good stuff. HCL, being a declarative language, can be very wordy, so repeating the same configuration over and over and over and over again will be cumbersome. So usually, if you can, start by defining modules from the beginning and try to use them as much as possible for maximum reusability. So we're going to go and we're going to look through our existing code to see, is there anything we can change into a module? And the best way to figure, oh man, I don't want to use what's in production because I don't want to break anything. We can, well, since ECS isn't working right anyways, we can try using it with that, see what happens. All right. So if you are starting with Terraform or infrastructure as code in general, you can omit using modules until you get a grasp of how Terraform works. I think we can get to it now. All right. We've been doing this for a while. So how to use Terraform modules. Okay. Now that you know what a Terraform module is, let's take a step-by-step process of creating them. So let's get started. So create a module block. To use a Terraform module, you have to first declare that you wish to use it in your current configuration. To do this, use the module block and provide the appropriate variable values. So where do you create this? Is this a new file or something? Oh, this one is going to be created within the... So this is going to take it from their stuff. And we would be able to... Well, we can do that. It's just a test, so it's not a big deal. So as you are adding the variables, there will be a few arguments that you should keep an eye on: their source, their version, and 4 meta arguments. So source. The Terraform modules can be stored either locally or remotely. The source argument will change depending on their location. For example, if the module you wish to call is stored in a directory named Terraform test module, located in the same place as your root module directory, your root configuration would look like this. So this is if it's like locally on your computer. Well, maybe we'll do that, right? Maybe we'll do that. And if you want to keep the module in a VCS, let's assume it's Git or GitHub, the module will need to point to the correct repository containing the appropriate version of the module that you are calling. So if we have it in GitHub, we would do this. And it has a tag of version 1. So Terraform modules can also be stored in so-called registries. Registries are places where you can find modules published by fellow Terraform users, or where you store the ones you have created, either privately for your company or yourself, or publicly for everyone to enjoy. A Terraform module is called from a registry. It might look like this. So it would be module, Terraform test module, source, the registry address, organization, provider, module name, and the version. Please note that URL schemes depend on the registry provider. For example, imagine you wish to include a VPC module stored in the spaceless registry in your configuration. Then you would have to do this and that. Like, so spacelive.io, your organization, VPC module name, AWS. All right. Let's see. You probably noticed 2 examples are a bit different from one another. A big advantage of Spacelif's registry is that it provides such an example for each module. This means you can check whether the source argument in your configuration is correct. Additionally, you can grab the entire example and use it as a template, filling in the blanks and starting work right away. All right. Let's see. Versioning enables you to control what module changes should be introduced in your infrastructure. Why is it useful? It helps prevent the damage of your infrastructure caused by unpredictable updates or faulty code. That's true because if it's set to auto upgrade and now on the new version, it's not that it's faulty, but it's not backwards compatible with whatever old code that you have. It's going to cause your application to crash out, and we don't want that to happen. So you should be you have to put in the version that you want to use and then upgrade it accordingly after you've done the proper testing and stuff like that, right? This can also happen with, you probably know from experience, any update to software packages or applications on a production server can go wrong. This can happen with Terraform modules if they are not kept under control. The syntax for version constraints is simple. Simply, a version is a string containing 1 or more conditions. All right. So in the provider, let me see. As you might already, all right. So let me see. So meta arguments. Meta arguments are special arguments that change the behavior of Terraform when parsing the declared module. Currently, there are 4 of them in active use. Count and for each are used to create multiple instances of the same module or resource. Okay. More on this in Terraform count versus for each meta argument. Providers, this is a meta argument, allows you to directly declare which provider the module should be used for. This comes in handy if you have 2 cloud service accounts and you want to create resources bound to the secondary. In order to achieve that, you will need to properly design your Terraform module so that it takes the provider as an argument and passes it along like this. So we have provider AWS, module, providers, AWS.nested provider alias. So, okay, under the module, you can pass in which provider you actually want it to use. Okay, cool. Got it. So you're saying I wanted to use the AWS.Frankfurt as opposed to maybe AWS.Turkey. I don't know. So that is what I'm seeing here. All right, so it depends on, usually Terraform handles explicit dependencies quite well, but sometimes there aren't enough. If you need to declare that something should be created before something else, use this meta argument to define an explicit boundary between resources or modules, right? So how do you declare your module? Sometimes you might need to use the values that are available in the already created resources. A Terraform module completely encapsulates those resources, and here's how they can be accessed. First, declare your Terraform module that is selected, that the selected value should be available as output. So output random string. All right. And so you're saying the value of random string is going to be whatever it returns to you from here. Then call this value like this. So resource example resource, and then random string is module example. Why is that module? Are they treating the output as a module?
Lunch break.
Cool. Well, let me just take a quick skim. Anything else we need? I don't see no scroll bars on this page. All right, cool. So let's go to break, and we shall come back to this. We'll start, messing with this and find out what's going on. All right. So we are at break. So let me read the comments real quick, and then we are going to get to our first break time topic. And let's go to restarting out over. Let's go with your car says about tofu is that it's nasty. I don't care how you cook it. I always heard that tofu takes on the taste of what you cook it with. So let's say you like chicken. If you cook the tofu in the same thing you would cook chicken, then it would take the shape of the taste of chicken or something like that. And I was like, but I could just eat chicken. Could do that. Right? I don't know. And it was always quite spongy to me. I don't know. And your card says that the VPC is actually virtual private cloud peer-to-peer. And also that's why you stress the importance of knowing how to push and pull things on GitHub. I'm going to read that again. Let's rewind real quick. Let me rewind real quick. That's why you stress the importance of knowing how to push and pull things onto GitHub.
Message.
Super, super important. Like all day long, I have to push things on GitHub, pull things, push to the branch, pull things in, knowing on GitHub itself how to update the branch the development branch we're working on from masters to get the latest updates, all this type of stuff. Super, super important. As a QA engineer, I am deploying new code all the time. Crazy issue that happened to me last Thursday where the deploy said it went through. It didn't actually go through. Had to find another way to get to redeploy it, and it worked. So you've said it correctly, your car. I cannot stress how important it is of knowing how to navigate through GitHub and Git branching, all of that, right? So like creating a new branch, checking out the branch, emerging into an existing branch, updating and stuff. Even with rebase, I'm not too familiar with rebase. That one always like confuses me, right? But super important to do the basics at least, right? So totally, totally true. And Mitch says, lunch break, pizza time, call me a Ninja Turtle. What I heard, all due respect, the Ninja Turtles are on dating shows. That's what I heard. That is what I heard, right? What I heard. All I heard, right? And your card says, I'm Donatello. And Mitch says he is Michelangelo. And I will be Raphael. I'll be Raphael. It only makes sense, right? But let's go to, all right, we're going to stop right there. And let's go into our first break time topic. And then I'll finish up with the chat on the other side. So we are looking at. I want to talk about this real quick. I'm going to throw 5 seconds up on the clock about what does it mean to compete. I'll start off with this. Do you think that you're competing if you go over to the local park and you're playing, pick up basketball or pick up football, whatever the case may be? Do you consider that to be competing, competition, stuff like that? Or is that just, hanging out with some guys that some guys you don't know, getting in a little sweat out there and stuff like that? And the reason that I want to talk about what does it mean to compete is because I don't think, I think what people consider competing to be is not competition whatsoever. See, me, I've competed in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at a very amateur level. But the preparation for that amateur level competition, it is crazy. So I can't even imagine what the professional level competitors go through. Or imagine what the UFC fighters who are preparing for a upcoming fight, what they go through. See, or what about basketball players and football players? Whatever, a tennis player, whatever the sport is, when they prepare to compete. If you saw the movie, what's it called, King Richard, about the Serena and Venus Williams, growing up, how their dad pushed them to get good. What is when you're going to compete, you have to sacrifice so much, whether you have to cut down in weight, you have to train more in whatever it is that you're doing. That becomes a part of your life. And that's why so many people, they drop out, they don't make it. It's how many hours are you putting in to whatever you say you're going to compete in? And the reason that I share this is because this tech stuff is no different. There is many people out there who want your job or who are going for the same job that you're trying to get. And if they are working harder than you to compete against you, then you're going to be in trouble. And what is it they might be working on? They might be working on getting their resume right. They might be working on mock interviews, what to say in the interview. They might be working on how to get more skills than you. Can you be more talented? Absolutely. But if they can show and demonstrate that they have a better mindset and work ethic than you, then it's going to be harder for you. I remember when I get ready for jiu-jitsu competitions, I would earlier on, before, I would probably do 2 to 3 hours training. So a class plus 1 hour of live sparring and competition class. And so I would go Monday nights, level 2 class or competition class. Wednesday nights, level 2 class or competition class. Friday nights. And this is 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours. Saturdays for another 2 hours. Tuesday and Thursday mornings, level 1 class, but and then study, come up with different strategies, write a game plan out. So that's on an amateur level. So that's how many hours is that? That's 4 days at 2 hours. That makes 8 hours plus an hour on Tuesday and Thursday. That makes 10 hours of just on the mat time. It doesn't include regular working out.
Get a move on. Back to work. Chop, chop. Let's go. Come on. Get a move on. Back to work. Back to work. Back to work.
That doesn't include just working out, like, to maintain your strength. It doesn't include what you have to eat in order to either maintain your weight or lose weight, so that you can weigh in at like what the weight goal is, but not too low. Because if you weigh in too low, that's fine. But the person who weighs in at weight, they still have a small weight advantage over you. But if you, let's say what I compete at, right? I have to be 141.6 pounds with the gi on, with the uniform on, the kimono on. And if you get to 141.8 on your first weigh-in attempt, your first official weigh-in attempt, 15 minutes before you're actually fighting, you're disqualified. Done. Not happening. Just for that. So you could have been training for the past 3 months, 10 hours plus. Because some people that like me, I think like some people, they might be training double because they have the time. They might be training the double what I'm doing. Like I said, I'm on amateur level. So all that to say, whatever it is that you say you want. So now let's bring it back to the tech stuff, right? How many hours are you training per week? Whether you have a job or you don't have a job. See, your car runs all of his own businesses. And still, he has time to dig into all these different things, know them, master many of them, because he put in the time, because he has to figure things out. That's why I personally say, if you're not putting an extra 10 to 20 hours a week, then you're not serious about competing. You're not serious about whatever it is that you want. Just look at me here. Sometimes we go 2 to 2.5 hours. We go about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour in the mornings on Mondays and Wednesdays, right? So that's already let's round it up to 2 hours. Thursday nights, we put another 2 hours in. Tuesdays, another 2 hours in. That alone right there on the stuff that I'm working on camera, on like streaming live, that's already, we're at like what, 6 hours, and then if we put another 2 hours on Tuesdays, and that's like on camera. We're always looking for different things to learn. I'm probably and this is why I pair the two, what I'm learning and what I'm streaming, to get better with quality of content creation and to expand my knowledge in this tech stuff. We're putting in like maybe 20 hours extra a week, if that. Might be more. I don't know. So you might say you like to compete, but are you really competing? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Are you really competing? Or you say you want to compete just so someone can give you something, all right? That is my thought. That is what I am wondering out here. All right, let's finish up the chat and then we will get back to work. So your car says that's like saying water takes on the taste of what you boil it in. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And Mitch says, I'm not in there. And where? Oh, you decided not. You don't want to be a Ninja Turtle with us? And it says, of course, Tech Coach Ralph is Raphael. He loves to choke people. Just saying. To compete capitalism. And says, oh boy, here we go. It says, in the black community, competing is a part of life. All right. You got to back your talk up. And let's see. It says, Mitch says, your car, that's all they do. Sad. And Mitch says, I got a Bentley. Now the next got to go get a spaceship. All right. And your car says, the crazy compete in Brooklyn. They crazy compete in Brooklyn. And so Mitch says, fighting for my life. So here's the thing. So I was trying, as I was reading, I was trying to think about this, right? So people, are you competing? Is survival competition, right? Because what you guys seem to be describing is more like survival as opposed to choosing to enter the ring. I don't know, because like, for me, right? I never had to do any jiu-jitsu competition, but I chose to do it. And I chose to the process and the planning and the strategy and everything like that. But as Mitch says, if you're fighting for your life, are you competing or are you struggling to survive? That's my question, right? That's my question right here, right? Let's see. Your car says they parked their Bent next to the super yacht so haters can see it. And actually, Mitch, I am in the light feather category. I'm just saying the light feather category. As this Floyd Mayweather started in the super feather. And we got Telltale Woke in the building. Is what's going on? What's going on with you? What is going on with you? And then just finished up day 2 of 100 days of Python. It really can be one thing that messes up the whole code. That we learned that from Ferris. That's a fact. We learned that from Ferris. And guess what? Python is to me, I think, at least, or if it's not anymore, but it is one of the nicest languages out there because it is so forgiving. In Java, you miss a semicolon, nothing compiles. All right? And your car says, I'm talking about in sports, fighting women and stunning on these. I got you. Natural selection is competing. Got you. One. Anyways. All right. Let's get to our second segment of the show. But yeah, that was a thought that I had because a lot of times, like, oh, I'm working so hard. I'm like, well, but are you working harder than your competition? Are you working smarter than your competition? Because I believe, there's a saying, right? Work smarter, not harder. But I put it as work smarter and harder. Because then I'm going to do way more than you. Because if you're trying to take the shortcut where you're just working smarter, but you're not actually like, so what I do is after I work smarter, then I go to work hard on the other part that I can also see, okay, how can I make this part work smarter as well? And now I have like, I don't know, whatever. And teamwork makes the dream work. And Mitch says, how do you know if you're working smarter and harder than the competition? Well, good question. I just go with the David Goggins approach, right? if I see them doing something, right? And I'm like, well, let me start earlier. Let me find a better strategy. And 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 if they beat me, then I'm like, okay, then they worked harder than me. And they worked smarter than me. If I lost, then that means that they did better than me. And I apparently didn't work either smarter or harder or both. But that is a great question. That is a great question. It's all about, at the end of the day, right? It's all about your individual work ethic. And it's all about your results. It's all about your results. If you win, then you did better. If you lose, then they did better. And you got to re-strategize and learn from your losses. But that is a great question. And yes, Mitch, yes, you get 1 point. All right, there you made a free throw, Mitch. You made a free throw. All right, cool. So let's get back to our second block of the day. Let's go to.
Let's go! Let's go!
All right, so let's look at this real quick, and then we'll look at to see what are some opportunities that we have for modules. So let's go here. All right. So let's see what sometimes you might taint Terraform modules. Sometimes you might need to recreate some or even all component parts of a Terraform module. As there is no way of flagging an entire module that needs to be recreated, you will need to manually taint every resource that was created by the module. While it may seem like a downside, it is actually a feature that offers additional protection against human error. What's more is you will rarely need to taint an entire Terraform module. All right, so I'm not going to worry about the taint part right now. Let's see, test modules, whether a blessing occurs, Terraform's code is still code. It should be properly tested. Okay, let's talk about that because we are QA minded over here. It is absolutely crucial, but when done manually, it can be quite a chore. Luckily, Spacelift, along other upgrades and extensions, provide automated module testing, and you will absolutely love it. Terraform modules managed by Spacelift registry get tested every time you push a new commit. They are applied, deleted, and you get all the details of the run. If something fails along the way, the entire test fails too. If everything goes smoothly, the test is successful. The entire process is automatic. But if you feel like playing around with it, you can even write your own test, such as this one below. All right, we're not going to worry about that too much right now. Okay, so let's take a look at our code, and we'll look at the ECS code, like I mentioned, to see what can we do for that. All right, so let's go here. And we're going to go over to our other screen. All right. So we're looking at this screen over here. This is our ECS stuff, which doesn't really work right now. But let's go and look through. Let's start out with the ECS plan, right? So in here, we have our AWS task definition. And I'm going to put some comments in here of things that would be different, which might be a variable that would be passing in. Let's say this one, for example, right? This could be a variable for a module. See what else we got. If we're to turn this into a module, let's say we're thinking about doing a module for creating a task definition. But I mean, when you think about it, all resources are technically modules as well because you're still going to be passing in these different variables as well. But whatever. Let's say let's say we want everything of this to be the same, right? We want the whole runtime, everything like that. We could say that we want container definition, port mapping, environment variables, logging. And now if we look at over here, load balance. So let's see then. If we were to start creating a module, let's go into this Docker here, and let's say we over here. So what if all right, I'm just gonna create a folder in here because it should go inside of the. So let's see if we go in here and we create a folder called new directory. We call this directory. Let's just call it mod, or let's call it um, call it that, right? We have a folder, and inside of this folder, we are going to say, let's see what we can do. So this is for the ECR. I'm looking to see what would be a decent module that we could reuse. So what if we were to do our load balancing configuration as a module, right? I know we have issues with the target group. We're going to figure that out at some point. But if we were to get started, let's say we were to do the load balancer as a module, right? So let's say I'm going to, right. So in here, let's see what we're going to have. So this is going to be a child module. So this is going outside of the directory. All right. Let's see. I don't see. So this is talking about how to create modules. That's awesome. Let's see. All right. So if we go into I wonder if it has to be outside of the folder. Let me see. Let's take a look at the child module again. Child module is here. If the module you wish to call is stored in a directory named Terraform module. So let me move that outside of the folder then. I think it would be outside of the folder. Let's go to let's say we go with, let's just rename that to I'm gonna rename this to TCR modules. And if we were to just put it on this level right here, and we were to go to let me make sure there's nothing in the provider file. All right, nothing in there. That's serious. So let's go over here. And if we were to say, what does the module file? Oh, let me see. Module, TCR modules. And we say the source would be here we go with that. And let's try a Terraform plan, see if that gives us anything. So TCR modules, this module is not yet installed. Run Terraform init to install all modules required by this configuration. Okay, so we don't have anything in there yet. So the module needs to be installed. So we'd have to, all right, I mean, that's no love lost there. Let's see what we get from this. Let's see. Terraform has been successfully initialized. You may begin working with Terraform. If you ever set or change modules or backend configuration for Terraform, rerun this command to reinitialize your working directory. If you forget, other commands will detect it and remind you. All right, cool, got it. So let's also do a Terraform plan again. And that's just going to give us that'll just give us all right, cool. So far the module is fine. I mean, there's nothing in there. It's just an empty folder. But if we were to say, let's take this folder, or let's take this file and drop it like it's hot inside of here. So could we say everything that is not everything that's going to show up red, could that be our at least part of our variables that we'll be passing in? So inside of this folder, if we were to do new file, .tf, and we were to say, it's going to be a terrible, terrible example, but it's for us to learn, right? So what I'm going to say here then is, let's say we did in here. Let's close this down. Close this down. Close this down. So let's say we were to do variable, and let's say we do ALB subnet, and let's say we go here, right? And we go here, Let's say we don't set a default value, right? And we say here would be var.alb subnet, right? And then, I just want to do a Terraform plan real quick to see if all these error things are going to do anything. So the argument LB subnet is required, but no definition was found, right? Cool, good. So if we were to go into the provider, we actually still need the provider. And we're doing it in Docker. We go here. So all right, cool. So add subnet. And here we are going to, so we'll take it from this one where it says that let's say we take this right here because the subnet is being created in a different file, right? So we say in this provider file, this is going to be the ALB subnet, right? So now it's going to set this right here. So what we're going to end up doing, we're going to just delete this file at the end of the day, right? Once we're done, I should have created a new branch for this. Let's see something. Cool. That work? That is stuff. I think we're good. Let me see. Get status. Yeah, we're good. We're good. So create a new branch. All right. So let's continue. We have this here. What else is not working over here? We have the security groups. So I'm actually gonna read it. Let's go to all right, and here we're gonna go and say this one right here is going to be all right. Now inside of here, we're going to have to add boom, right? And anything else in this one? So the VPC ID. If we go here, and then you can always add descriptions to these variables. But ALB VPC ID. I don't know why I'm putting a all right, let's go with that. And we're going to say var.ALB ID. Anything else in red over here? We have the traffic port. Let me go into this one. All right. So after we get, so this should be all right. So this is the last one, right? So ALB traffic or listener traffic port. All right. So we're going to take this one. This. Ah. All right. And now we're gonna go into our provider, and we'll say ALB VPC traffic port. We're gonna say yes. All right. So pretty much it's saying now we're gonna create this. We're gonna use this module called TCR modules, and we're going to say find it for this location. We're gonna pass all this stuff in here, right? I don't think we need to call this anywhere. I think just because the module is inside the provider file or whatever it would be in, it would automatically go ahead and create this, is what I'm understanding. Let's do a Terraform plan. And if we can get, we'll kick off the apply if it goes through, and then we'll see what it gets. All right, so inappropriate value for security groups element 0 string required. Oh, does that mean we could do? So if we look at our module for security group, oh, okay, I see what I did. I think over here, I put it in here. So if we go like that,
Lunch break! Lunch break!
like that, and actually, instead of just, well, we're on a different branch. So I can delete it. It's not a big deal. Terraform plan. All right. So everything is looking like it should go through. We already know that our thing isn't really working. So, but if we get the 502 page, then that'll be considered a success. What I'm going to do now, moment of truth. I'm going to delete this file right here, right? This file right here is going to be gone out of here. We never, ever want to see you again, right? And we'll see if our makeshift module actually works. I'm going to delete that. Say goodbye. Goodbye. And you're gone. You're out of there. 3 strikes, you're out. And I'm going to do that Terraform plan one more time. Uh-oh. A managed resource ALB main undeclared resource. All right, well, in that case, we will, now that we see this error, we'll figure out how we're going to we're going to look into that when we come back, and how we're going to actually pull in the module in order to be able to use it, which I think I have an idea. Right? But guess what? It is break time. Let's go to break. All right. I did not look at the chat as I was doing this. So if you guys are saying things in regards to it, I apologize. I was so focused on it, but we're gonna do it, right? So let me check the chat real quick before we get to our second topic. Your car says, my opponents be like, all I do is lose, no matter what.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
And that's what your card tells him after he destroys them, all right? It says, no watermelon shot today. So that's funny that you asked that, because in this cup, it's like 3 watermelon shots with an excessive amount of ginger in there. So that's why I have my cup of water right here as well. Yeah. Oh, by the way. Yes. Hold on. Yesterday, we made like homemade ice cream, right? We made 3 different ice creams. There's this fruit, I don't even know the name of it, that it would be, I don't even know what name it would be, but we made an ice cream out of that. It was pretty good, right? Then we made ice cream out of our mangoes, which was also really, really good, no sugar added, right? But then we also made because my mom wanted some rum raisin ice cream, but we didn't have any raisins, but we used Haitian rum to make this. Let's call it vanilla rum ice cream. That thing, just a little bit. It was so strong. It was crazy. It was good, but it was so strong. I was like, wow, that had me like I couldn't finish working yesterday, right? Anyways, let's keep going. We have Mitch says yellow watermelon is what in the world is yellow watermelon? What is yellow watermelon? And we got my guy in the building. Loved your video yesterday. Or at least I watched it yesterday, but loved it. And it's me, myself, I said it correctly yesterday. Me, myself, me, myself. I think me, myself. Might be my southern accent that's messing it up a little bit, but I said it over and over yesterday after a while, like me, myself, me, myself. But I'm working on it. Welcome.
I appreciate you.
And let's get to our second one, our second break of today. All right. So we're going to be talking about how can a company see your work ethic, right? So what do I mean by that? And I was watching a video today, a really good video actually, about someone who was laid off, right? And they were sharing that the way that they work is like their work ethic is incredible, but like whenever they're going through the interview process, they said, "Oh, we're actually going to go with this person, or we can offer you less money because this person has like a little bit more experience than you." And they were saying that, they don't like, they said the David Goggins thing, "You don't know me, son." Right. But in the idea of like, how can a company that you're applying for know that your work ethic is actually better than, as we spoke in the first break, than your competition? Because everyone is your competition, right? And so I was like thinking about it, and like, how do you distinguish yourself? How do you show that you're better than whoever else? Which kind of goes to Mitch's question about how do you know that you're working harder than your competition? And while you never actually really know if you're working harder than your competition, one thing that I say that you should do, especially when you're going through the interview process, I look for how can I get the person that I'm talking to say something like, "Wow," or "Wow, I never thought about that. I never knew that. I never did that before," throughout every stage of the interview process. Because I didn't put my time. Let's put a timer, right? Because because it's like you have to express that you are the best at whatever it is, especially if it's to people who don't know you, and you need to be able to back it up. Like Yakar was saying earlier, you got to be able to back up your talk. And what I find a lot of times is that people are very, very humble, which for the most part, that's a good trait. But when you are fighting and competing, you need to be able to express, especially in this type of field, of why you have superior work ethic. And I just think back to a bunch of different interviews that I had, is making sure that I leave some type of impression on the whoever I was talking to. So I remember in an interview talking to the hiring manager, they asked me, like, I don't remember what they asked me. It was something like, "Oh, something that you did." I don't even know, because even sometimes, even when they don't ask, I find a way to put something cool that I did into it. So I said something about how I integrated my framework, my automation framework, I integrated the Google APIs into my automation framework in order to use Google Sheets as a data provider, so that I did not have to always update the like Excel files in a repo. And so now I have to like check commit and checking the files and everything like that, where I could just have it externalized, totally externalized, so that I can add new lines of test data, things like that. And they actually asked a good question. Like, but can it, like, what if somebody was to, delete the data or something? I'm like, well, I restrict access to only me. And I had backup copies, and you have like versions and stuff like that, right? Like, but that led us to a conversation about ways to optimize our testing strategies on an interview call. And then another thing, when I did like the technical part of the interview, from before even going, and I said all this in a comment that I left on this video. And I said, before going to interview, like with the technical interview, they were already impressed by the quality of the technical project. Because I did it as if I was working there. Very detailed oriented, very careful. Because I've seen technical interviews where it's just like stuff thrown together, no care. But me, I'm like, this represents me of how creative I am, the quality of code that I write, the different things that I'm looking for. And I think that is like, they'll never fully see your work ethic that way, right? But the thing that you say about when I speaking into, like, when I was doing the panel interview, right, with the team that I'd be working with, and I spoke about things about, like, being a team player in the past, working an overnight shift in order to support a release that we're doing for a software to our Japanese clients, and while being awake for the night to do that support, taking the time to also, like, at 3:00 in the morning, right? So, like, talking to the other younger junior QA engineers that were also working on they're working that same shift, and we're like, well, now that we have the time, let's talk more about automation. How you guys can, like, what type of things you need to do to learn more about automation and stuff like that. Because we had available time to do it.
Get a move on. Back to work. Chop, chop. Let's go. Come on. Get a move on. Back to work. Back to work. Back to work.
And at another company, how we worked, like, I was pretty much I guess I would say, pioneer to help us test all of the different changes that were being implemented to help battle a lawsuit that the company was facing. For that whole weekend, I probably went home for like an hour to help figure this stuff out. But like, sharing those things, you're just sharing, like, this is the stuff that I've done in order to for the good of the company and stuff like that, but also for myself to say, hey, this is my work ethic. All right, so that is what I'm thinking. Like, you need to be able to market yourself effectively, especially when you are going into a territory where they don't know you. They're just making a decision on whether they want to hire you or not for hour-long conversation or something like that. And that's why I say you need to prepare for that competition. You need to put in the work. For me, one of the best things that I ever did was starting streaming this stuff, because I've learned so much about Terraform in the past since September. I've learned so much about JavaScript, doing automation with Cypress, Playwright, WebDriver.io, Selenium. Learning so much about automation, because not even automation, with AI, because I did a little bit of it in the mornings at the beginning of the year, but just by going onto YouTube and meeting someone like Don, I learned so much about how to integrate with OpenAI's what do you call that? their APIs for AI, right? Their ChatGPT APIs. So the like building communication skills, all of that stuff is used to market yourself. How to handle disgruntled VPs of data, not talking about Mitch, but I am talking about Mitch, finding cool ways to work with your car. Like you meet so many people, you get to network, effective networking, and you get to build up your skills and your resume, a real resume. All right. So that is my thought on how can a company see your work ethic. It's all about how you market yourself, and don't be humble about it. You better brag like there is no tomorrow. All right. All right. So let's finish up the chat. And something that your car asked that I want to know as well. What is it? First of all, what is a yellow watermelon, and what does it taste like? And Mitch says it tastes better than the red one. And I agree with you, Yakar. That is a very biased answer. And it's just, I don't know what to tell you. It's more. What is it? What is a yellow? I don't know what a yellow watermelon is. I've never seen it before. It says you have a Dixie watermelon from Texas. If you have to have a Dixie watermelon from Texas if you want a sweet one, not those store-bought ones at the supermarket. It looks like honeydew. That's why. And let's see. Mitch says, I don't like watermelon though. That is the only one I would get, but they are hard to find. Yeah. I'm learning about them too. I am learning about them too. Let's see. So they come here for the tech. They stay for the entertainment. That's a fact. That is a fact, right? And it says, let's see. It says, where do you get those? That's an Italian watermelon. That's hilarious. Let's see. Where are we? Let's see. So they're talking about the whole. I'm not gonna go into the whole watermelon thing because that'll take so much time to figure it. All right. It says, because Ricard, did you see the debate? That's your job. All right. And it says mango. Now we are talking. Okay, you see, I can get down with that. It says, let's see. All right, there we go. We got me Massify in the bill. Oh, I think I said it right. Without even thinking, I think I said it right. See, when I think about it, that's when I get it wrong. But when I don't think about it, I get it right. It says, what if your company sucks? I say that everything is an opportunity to learn from, right? If they suck, you try to make the best out of it. You learn as much as possible, and then you have to grow and level up from there. But experience is experience. Even if it's like the worst case scenario and you hate the company, the experience you're getting, I still think that it is a useful way to build up and to grow from there. So I think everything is an opportunity because at the very end of the day, it's all about your growth and your career path that you're going to. And, as a saying says, sometimes you got to kiss a few frogs. Right? And your question is, what if you were great at IT and worked at Kmart? Mitch says Kmart had an IT department. I guess it depends. Like, what exactly are you doing at Kmart? Are you working in the IT department or are you stocking shelves? And if you are stocking shelves, why can't you get into the IT department at Kmart? Just saying. Let's see. Yakar said that Kmart is credited with coming up with this with the SKU system, the SKU system. That's interesting. That is interesting. And Mitch says, break don't start until we get back from getting our lunch. I didn't know that either, Mitch. I did not know that Kmart came up with the SKU system. All right, let's get to our last segment of the show where we have to figure out what is going on with this thing, because I think we have to be able to call in our module into this thing. And that's why we had to delete this load balance, right? So, and lastly, Yakar said, yeah, they were actually more innovative than Walmart at first. Interesting. Guys, see, the more you know. I need to have, I'm going to see if I can get a, what is it? That reading rainbow that goes across, because the more you know, the more that you know, the more that you shall do. All right. So let's get back to our last segment. I'm just put another 20-minute timer.
It's time to do.
Okie dokie. So let's see here. I'm gonna go over back to this screen. And so we have a bunch of issues where can't find this, right? So let's go and open up all the places that are in error. And we probably just have to call it from the module, I'm guessing. All right. So this is going to be PPQ. So ECS plan. So let's open up the ECS plan. And we should have some errors. Okay, we got an error. All right. So let's go to, I wonder if we could just do module maybe? Module dot, all right, so what is this supposed to be for? This was AWS LB. So let's go to module dot TCR dot, I don't know. We have the module here. How do we, all right, so let's do a quick search then. Or do we have to do an output? We're looking for how to reference a module in Terraform. Let's look at the Terraform documentation first. So local path. And module blocks. Got this. And you input variable output. So how to reference resources created by, all right, so how to reference resources created by a module, right? Module, so that's pretty much what we have. Get the following error. Since you're using a module, you need to change the format of the reference slightly. Module outputs. It's also important to note that you can reference values outputted from a module. Okay, so we got to output. So it looks like we have to output it. So where do you... I use the output name of the module as the identifier of the value. So where do you find the where do you set the output name? Source. Let me see. Let's look at this right here. Declaring an output value. Each output value exported by a module must be declared using an output block. Ah. I see. Accessing child modules. So that's kind of annoying. Output value. So accessing child module outputs. In a parent module, outputs of a child module are available expressions module name dot output name. You could access that value. So let's try to do an output name then. Let's try to do an output name. We go back to our module and we say output, and we call that what are we trying to get into it? We're trying to get to the depends on ALB main. ALB module output, and the value would be aws.alb.main. So now, if we go into this ECS plan dot output dot value, no, wait a second, variable, wait, not variable. Oh, okay. It depends on network. I don't know. Let's see. And then we have over here, we would need to output this target group as well. So if we were to go into target group, and we would say output that'll be target or module target group, and we would say, what if we did? I wonder if I do this, if I'll be able to access the things that are even inside of it. I don't know. Let's find out. Let's find out. So if I go over to ECS plan and I was to do module dot that dot that dot, because that's not going to give me the ID that I'm looking for. So I guess I would have to say in here dot ID. Is that what it was for? Do I need the ID or the ARN? Let me see. Target group ARN. Would that be the issue with this? Wait a second. This is a target group ARN. Why am I passing an ID for that? So let's go. Let's go with N. And let's go with value. Or no? No, why not value? Or maybe it's just like this. And we have this one. If we do output, and we call this, I call the other output, it'll be module listener. And we say that's going to be dot. What was that before? No, we didn't have that at all. And that would be in the ECS plan. Oh, just the plan. Okay. To depend on. All right, cool. So if we say all right, so let's see if we have any other error. Oh, let's try. So let's see. Here we had this was an error. Route 53 had an error. We're gonna have to expose the DNS name as well. Outputs.tf lb host name. These are all the ones that we need to fix here. So we have. So let me do another Terraform plan. We should be able to see all the first ones got removed, I hope. Yeah, so all the first ones got removed. So now let's go into the Route 53. And we need to fix we're gonna need to output the zone ID as well as the DNS. Not too bad. So let's say we go to where is that getting? Let's close this one out. That one is done. Main. All right. So DNS output. This one. Let's go. I think we're done with this one as well. So let's go with output lb module. DNS name. And we're going to say value is AWS ALB dot main dot DNS name. And then I'm just going to copy this over. And we're going to say this is going to be zone ID. Zone ID. And if we go into here, if we do module dot TCR modules dot DNS name, and this one is module dot TCR dot ALB zone ID, that should do it. Make sure this was DNS name before, right? Yep. So making sure that's what it was before. All right, cool. So we got that one done. If we do another Terraform plan, we should see what we have left. So now we have inside of, why is that one not working? Oh, wait, what? Did I still? ECS, AWS, AWS, 914. That should be good, no? Oh, no. So we only have this one left then. We only have this one. ALB main has not declared in the root module. All right, so in the root, a managed resource main has not been declared. Oh, outputs.tf. Outputs.tf. So here, okay, cool. Here we're gonna say module dot yes. Cool. So now we should say that we are clean. Nice. Nice. Well, this is good. Our plan is there. I'm gonna kick it off, and then before we end the show, if it's done by that part, we'll take a look at it, even if it's like not working for other reasons. We would know that our module did work. Might not be the most efficient way to do it, might not be the best way to do it, but we would have a good understanding of modules. All right. So say Terraform apply, and let's do it. Let's do it. All right. Let's see what happens. It's doing its thing. All right. So it's creating. While it's creating, let's look at the chat and see what we got going on in there. Let's see here. By his grace, dispatching said, you know, one day that Tech Coach Ralph is going to have thousands upon thousands of subscribers watching and learning about tech. No more yellow watermelon socks. Talk. It sounds like yellow snow. That's hilarious. And Mitch says, if not, let me move this over here. Says, if it's not directed directly at me, I don't respect it. We don't speak this over here. Oh my goodness, Mitch. Mitch, you should have been a boxer. You should have been a boxer, definitely. So this is doing its thing. Let me see. One change that I did make from what I noticed from last week was inside of, where did I see it? Oh, I still have it though. But something, wait, what is, so this is the ECS, right? This is target group ARN, and this is going to the ID. I'm wondering if that should go to the ARN. I mean, it's too late to change it now, but I'm gonna try that because I know I put it in somewhere over here, but that might be where the issue was, right? I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what in the world went wrong, but it might be that. In the output, let me see, default action output here, but I might need to fix this as well for the because if it's pointing to this ID when it should be pointing it to the ARN because it's saying target group ARN. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I think I was saying the other day, right? I think that Terraform is actually very easy. Now, you might disagree. Like, oh, this thing is so much code and stuff like that. But now that I'm thinking about it, Terraform is actually very, very easy. So where does all the complication come in? The hard part is understanding how to actually use the providers like AWS or Azure or Google Cloud Platform. I know Sumo Logic has some Terraform. Mongo Atlas has Terraform. Figuring out how to use those is actually what's the hard part. Because if you actually know how to do all those things, right, going into Terraform is going to be like, you just know what things are supposed to be connected. So you know what all the requirements are. You know how subnets work. You know how load balancers work. You know how all that different stuff. So you just have to put it together saying, all right, so this is done. We're going to take a look at that. But you just need to know that, okay, this is what I need these are all the requirements. And even with the Terraform stuff, it gives you like additional help as well. So I don't know. So, but in other news, our module worked. Our module worked. All right. So let's see if we got. So we still have our bad gateway, which is kind of like what we expected because we didn't really change anything. We just took the load balancer, we turned that into the load balancer configuration, we turned that into a module, but we still have the bad gateway. But there was something that I saw that I wonder if this right here should also be ARN. I know I put it somewhere. Not in this one. I know I put it somewhere. Where did I put it?
Lunch break! Lunch break!
I put it in one of these files, but maybe it was this one that I had the issue. Something. Yeah, I put it in here. But if it also needs to be in here, maybe that's what part of the problem is. Let me do another real quick Terraform apply, see if we can change that up. That could be, it's just something that I saw that I noticed that might be it, but it might not. Well, so just try it out. All right, let's see if that makes any difference. So made a change here. Let me go into AWS. I don't think it made a difference, but I do know what the problem is. I'm just trying to figure out where I need to fix it. So, but I'm happy that we got our modules to work. All right. Let's go over to here. Man, my usage for AWS this month is crazy, and it's because of the VPCs. Oh my God. It is what it is, though. You know, it's worth it. And this is what I call investing in yourself, investing into your growth and your development. All right. All right. So let's go over to Elastic Container Service. Let's go here. So this is working, right? That's the thing. I know this is working, or at least I believe it is. It's just getting into this target group. I'm pretty sure the problem is with the target group, because if we look at it here, it gets stuck on registration in process, as opposed to when we did it manually, it worked out perfectly fine. Oh, good. Let's take a look at our. Look at the load balancer. We have a listener here pointing over here. ARN. What should this be? Anyhow, whatever. I'll keep investigating that. But like I said, we got our module to work. So that was great. Like, and if you noticed, right, in this, just reading the documentation and being aware of, functions and methods and calling things in and just starting it off, like creating the module, we figured everything else out about how to use the variables, how to do the outputs. We did a little bit of Stack Overflow for the outputs, but we figured it out. That's what we do here. That is what we do. We explore, we investigate, we pioneer, and we see, okay, now that we know how to use a module, we'll keep in mind when we're doing Terraform, can this be a module? Should this be a module? Do we write it all out and then we refactor it? And then we can even reuse this stuff? Maybe next week we're going to take the module and we're going to say, hey, can I push this to GitHub? Maybe I can create a repo for TechCoach Terraform modules, and then I can actually be using this stuff. Who knows? The possibilities are endless, right? So let's go ahead and let's wrap it up for today. Let's read the chat as we wrap it up. And he says, at Mitch, no more yellow snow. Just saying. I'm just saying. And Telltale Woke says, good to know. And by its grace dispatching, Junior says, bravo, bravo. And Telltale Woke says, Terraform is supposed to remove the GUI. That sounds great to me. I actually really, really love using Terraform. Like, because especially me being in automation, I love using Terraform because all of this infrastructure that we just set up, like after I did Terraform apply and it went through, that took maybe about 5 minutes for it to do all this stuff while I'm talking to you guys. And doing it manually, like having to focus and doing things here and there, that takes that takes like a good 30 minutes. And then having to destroy it, deleting a bunch of stuff. With this, I can just do Terraform, destroy, and then everything's gonna come down, right? So totally, yeah, I love Terraform. And Telltale Woke says the need for GUI, exactly. And we have, oh my God, Telltale, I'm gonna banish you over to Ferris's channel, Azure greater than AWS. Off with his head. But no, for real, on the real though, we're gonna do Azure as well, because I don't leave anything out, because if I can get good at Azure too, guess what that makes me? That makes me even more marketable. And I want you guys to understand this, right? When it comes to like these different platforms, you should not reject Google Cloud Platform. You should not reject.
Simple, B. It says wrap it up.
Oh, my bad.
Up, B.
Damn, y'all heard that? He told me to wrap it up. They told me to wrap it up. That means we gotta get going. We gotta get going. But to finish off, what I was saying, I don't believe there's any one that is greater than the other. They all serve a purpose, and different companies use different providers. So what that means is I'm going to get just enough familiar that I can be dangerous, that I can know the terminology, how to navigate through these things. And then we can even end up building the same exact infrastructure on Azure to get the same thing up. And because I've never used Azure before, I have credit with them, because they give you like so many hours or whatever of free service. So we can end up building this. We can say, okay, can we use the same code, make the necessary modifications, so that we can set up the same exact infrastructure? Why would we do that? What if we need a fallback? What if we need to switch over? Because like, let's say for some reason AWS has some crazy outage and we need to switch over to Azure and we need to spin up our infrastructure. So that's why I don't neglect anyone. I'm like, I've never used Azure before, but I am so open to it. I started off with AWS because I'm most familiar with it. Have all my setup in there, but I'm not gonna leave out. I've dipped and dabbled in Google Cloud Platform, but I'm not gonna leave out Azure, because guess what? I know that more government contractors, they lean more on Azure because the government leans heavily on Microsoft. So if you're looking to get into government contracting and stuff like that, or things of that nature, it's going to benefit you to know Azure. Now on the private industry, where we're not like dealing with regulations and a bunch of stuff like that, we're using more Azure. So I'm like, you just have you want to know a little bit about it all, but based on your realm, that's the one that you're going to know more about. So it just depends. But me, I don't care. After this long, I'm like agnostic to who's better, who's not. I'm like, what is going to help you get to the money? And I'm not going to play Here Comes the Money. I am not, because I'm not trying to get them on me again, talking about, oh, you used our thing. But I am gonna use
Money.
All right. Anyhow, let's wrap it up for today. Telltale Oak says multi-cloud projects face red droopy eyes. Hey, we are going to do what it does because we don't miss. You know, I'm going to repeat it one more time. We don't miss.
We the best.
All right, so I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you guys so much. Like I said, Telltale, I sent you a message earlier. If you want to jump on Google Meet later during the office hours, want to talk, whatever, feel free. But anyone else who is a Patreon member, I will be doing office hours at 7 p.m. Eastern time for about 45 minutes while I work on some stuff. If you want to jump on, I'll be on Google Meet and we can have a conversation. If you have a question about tech, code, whatever, we can figure it out. But I'm going to get out of here. You guys know what it is. The question that I have for you after we had all this fun figuring out these Terraform modules and being entertained by Mitch, very much appreciated. The question is,
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
I am very, very much entertained. I always have a great time learning and figuring things out. I love being able to play the sounds of accomplishments and victory at the end of the show. Always celebrating our wins, but we gotta go. And you know that yesterday's price is not today's price. Today's price is certainly not tomorrow's price. Because
One more thing. Price of the brick going up.
the price of the brick is always going up. And the brick is whatever you define it. Whatever you define it, your value, right? The price of the brick is always going up. But we are at an end. Everyone. And on that note, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful Sunday afternoon and a wonderful 4th of July week. Happy Independence Day to you all. This is Tech Coach Ralph with another episode of Software Explorations, working on Terraform modules to be specific. We are out.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts. Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again. Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
Spartans! What is your profession?